I touch that 5 for you. I do that 3 more times again. I testify for you. I told I like you, that bitch. I do it all and I'm around. You scared to do it. I'm not.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Kane. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video. Y'all already know when y'all see me sitting at this desk, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's story time. It is story time. Y'all know my life is a movie. So I take a lot of scenes from my movie and I talk about it. You never know. It could be somebody that can relate. Or, somebody that's going through the same thing. So, with that being said, y'all know I told y'all I'm going to do a disclaimer every beginning of my video whenever I do my story times. None of the names that are used in my story times belong to the actual characters. I'm changing everybody's name for privacy. It is to protect the trifling, not the innocent. Okay? So with that being said, y'all see that title. Y'all see that title. This story time can probably relate to mostly women, but men too, because men be going through it too. Okay? I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into the story. Story time. Where do I begin? Let me just say in the beginning, I always wanted to be in a relationship with a man that was very family orientated, because that's the type of female that I am. I came from a big, I have a lot of siblings. My mother and my father was there for all of us. We all lived in the same home. We were a tight-knit family. So I always looked for somebody that had the same thing. It's just crazy that I met men, and I've been in relationships with men that always had a very weird relationship with their mother or their father or just with their family in general. And it was always, a problem whenever it came to these in-laws. I don't know exactly what the problem is, y'all, but every guy that I have dated and been in a relationship with, I have generated some sort of hate towards me. Like, I don't know, y'all. I would literally walk into a room with this guy and their family would be like, so it's just like, the saying that, you're light, if you are like a very bright person spiritually, it bothers people with demons. It bothers evil people. You can just walk into a room and motherfuckers will see you and be like, and don't know you from a hole in the wall, but have a problem with you walking into that room. That is typically what I was going through with these mother-in-laws, with these in-laws, period. I would always become close to maybe one or two of the family members, and the rest of everybody would just hate me for, I don't know. I don't know why, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into the story, okay? I don't even know where to start because I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so honestly, I have 4 serious relationships out of my whole life. Literally. 4 serious relationships. The third relationship, I had never met any of his family. I probably met like his aunt and a cousin. I didn't meet anybody else. And that was Richard. That was the Richard era. I only met Richard's aunt and cousin. I never met Richard's mother. I never met Richard's father. I never met anybody. That's a red flag. We'll talk about that another time. Then there was, we're just going to call him Meek. Okay? We're going to call him Meek. Not Meek Mill, just Meek. His mother wasn't as extreme as the other mothers. She was fake. She was fake as hell. I'm not even going to hold you. Okay? Meek's mother was fake as hell. But she was weird. Very weird. She was into a lot of weird things. And she felt that her son was spending too much time with me. And her son claimed he wasn't a mama's boy, but he was. He listened to his mother a lot. The mother-in-law from Meek, that story is not even that long, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it, okay? I had met Meek working a summer job. So y'all know what time frame this was. I was still in my young years. But I was older than Meek by a year. I was older than him by 1 year. And I was working with his sister and his cousin. Summer youth job. After work, I would go hang out with his sister. I'm just gonna call her Tia. I'm working with his sister Tia. Me and Tia became very close. Like we became close, like best friends. One night she's like, you should come spend the night at my house because she wanted me to do her hair. At the time, y'all, I was doing hair. So I'm like, all right, cool. I goes home. I was young. I goes home, asks my mom, can I spend the night at Tia's house because I wanted to do Tia's hair. It's gonna take, a good while. My mom is like, does Tia's mom know that you are gonna spend the night? I text Tia and I'm like, my mother wanted to know, is your mother aware that I'm spending the night? You know how parents are back in the days. In that era of time, the parents back then, they wanted, I need to speak to an adult to know if they are aware that you're over here. So that's how my mother was. My mother wanted to know, so Tia talked to her mom talked to my mother, bam, I'm in there. So after work, I go straight to Tia's house. I lived in Brooklyn also, and they weren't too far from where we were living at. So it was walking distance. We walked from work, walked all the way there. They lived in a brownstone. We gets there and there's some guys sitting outside in front of, on the steps and stuff. As we were approaching the building, Tia says, those are my cousins and two of them are my brothers, my older brothers. So don't be alarmed or don't be scared. So I'm like, all right, cool. Cause I honestly was getting nervous. I'm from Brownsville. When y'all know how it is, you walk into a building, it's just like a pack of niggas in front of the building. You just like, I think I'll come back tomorrow early when people are asleep, But she's like, oh, it's okay. Two of them are my older brothers, the rest are my cousins. Like I'm related to all of them. So I was like, all right, cool. So we woke up to the building and they all were saying stuff to us. They were saying stuff to her and then they were asking her who I was. There was one of the dudes that was sitting on the steps. He didn't really say much. He kept staring. When we went into the building and we went upstairs, he followed us. Like he followed us upstairs into the house. And she was like, yeah, this is my brother. And I'm like, hi, how you doing? He goes, hey, what's up? So he asked me my name, everything. Meek was his name. Call him Meek. We started talking the whole time. He stayed in the house with us while I was doing her hair. He was attracted to me. We're young, okay? Like I said, I was a year older than him. I don't remember how old I was, so I'm not going to give an age. This is a short story just to give y'all an understanding of how people's mothers have beef with me for what? This is how it started. This is how the curse started. So me and him talking, like, we're talking, I'm braiding her hair, I'm doing her hair, and he's asking questions, and next thing I know, we exchanged numbers and she kicked him out of the room. So once I was done with her hair, the rest of the night, we're texting. Like wherever he was at in the house, we're texting. The next day, he shows up at the job, the summer job we had. And he was just like, oh, I just came to walk Tia home. And Tia's like, yeah, right. You came to see her. I'm not stupid. Meek started to come over with Tia. Whenever Tia would come to my house, Meek would come with her. All right. One night we're hanging out and Meek is just like, I want to be your boyfriend. I really like you. I think you're cute. And I don't want nobody else to be your boyfriend. We're young. So I'm like, all right, cool. So be it. All right, we're in a relationship. And that was it. Meek and Tia's mother were like really cool until I started dating her son. When I started dating her son, it was just like the whole attitude went over here, and the lady wasn't fucking with me no more. Whenever I would come to the house, she would pretend like she wasn't home. She didn't want to open up the door. I'm texting her son like, I'm here at the house. He told me to meet you at the house. I'm here. Nobody's home. He's like, my mother is there. I'm like, well, I'm knocking on the door. Nobody's answering the door. So then he would get there and he would go in the house. This lady is laying on the couch looking at TV. So, I mean, she was a very heavy lady. She was heavy set. So in my head, I just was like, maybe she's just too lazy. She doesn't feel like getting up. I don't know. I was just making an excuse for it. But it was happening every time. It just got to a very disturbing point, y'all. Like, the lady knew that I was allergic to peanuts. Like, I'm allergic to peanuts. I hate to even say that because after disclosing that to her, she literally tried to kill me. She made me a cake. Just made a cake. Me and her son had an argument, okay, and we was on the verge of breaking up. I'm going to just cut this short. We were on the verge of breaking up. This lady makes a cake, sends her son to my house with the cake. My father cuts the cake open, and the inside of the cake is compacted with peanuts. And I'm just like, and my mother calls her and was like, why would you send a cake by your son to my daughter that has peanuts in it, knowing that my daughter's allergic to peanuts? This is her, y'all. Me had no idea that she was allergic to peanuts. No offense to anybody from the island. I love y'all. I really do, okay? I love y'all. I have island in my family. So I'm just trying to do the accent. So please don't get offended. All right? Y'all know I got to make the story come alive so y'all can understand. She's like on the phone.
Me didn't know that she was allergic to peanuts. Nobody told me she was allergic to peanuts. I didn't mean to put the peanuts inside the cake. Mika should have told me. I mean, I'm quite sure he knows that she was allergic to peanuts.
Like, she was just on the phone lying, bro. Like, I'm allergic to peanuts. I literally told you this because you had made a salad one time and you had peanuts in it. I'm like, no, I can't eat that. Like, I'm badly allergic to the peanut. But she put a bunch of peanuts inside that cake. After that, my mother was like, you're not going back over there. You're not talking to him anymore. You're just not. You're just not. And y'all know me, I'm young. I'm like, I'm not what? What? So, all right, I'm sneaking around talking to Meek after my mother told me to stay away from him because, it's obvious his mother's trying to offset me. After a while, me and Meek broke up. I was tired. I was tired of his mother. His mother was just, I don't know. I don't know what it was. And then she just started to recruit other family members. So it's just like, every time I go over there, I would get into arguments with other family members. And Meek just was refusing to defend me because that's his mom, his sister, his cousin, and whoever else. So I had to cut that loose. I just let it go. I let it go. And I'm still young, so I'm still not picking up the lessons because there's always a lesson in something. Meek is done. No more Meek. No more Tia. Me and Tia, our friendship started to fade away slowly once me and Meek broke up. Now, y'all, Richard. I never met Richard's family. I never, ever met any of his family. I met his aunt and his cousin. I don't know why Richard did not let me meet his family. I really feel like Richard was living a double life. And he had a lot of stuff going on. And that's the reason why. That's the only thing I can think of. I really don't know. That's relationship number 3. This relationship lasted for years. I'm going to call him Jamir. Let's just call him Jamir. Okay? Me and Jamir, we grew up as kids. He was very cool. His mom was cool. His whole family was really, really cool. Like, when I say cool, like, we used to spend the night at each other's houses. Our mothers would hang out, shopping, barbecues at the park. Like, we were tight. We were tight, y'all, like tight. I grew up around this boy and his mother and his siblings. I grew up around all of them. Whenever John Mayer would go out of town, wherever he was in life, he never forgot about me. He always made a way to communicate with me, whether it was to say hi, bye, how have you been, what are you doing, happy birthday. He never forgot my birthday, which is crazy. It's not crazy, but it's just, he never forgot my birthday. Every time I had a party, he would come. I'm talking about from my sweet 16 all the way into adulthood. He would show up to every party or event that I had for my birthday. He would send messages to me through other people. We kind of reconnected. We started talking on the phone. We were hanging out. Next thing you know, we got into a relationship. And this became a long-term relationship. One day, he was visiting Brooklyn. His mom still had stayed in Brooklyn. He was visiting Brooklyn, and he hit me up and was like, let's hang out. He came, pick me up. We're hanging out. Like, we're vibing. We're vibing from 12 in the afternoon until 12 in the morning, y'all. Like, and then I still was with him. I would come home, shower, run in the shower, run back out to his car and go vibe some more. Like, this is how we were doing. So, one night he's like, do you want to just stay with me? And I'll just take you home in the morning. I'm just like, I don't know, because y'all, I have I told y'all this already. I have OCD. I cannot spend the night anywhere unless I can wash my ass and brush my teeth. And I have new, like, clean clothes to put on. I don't know how people do it. No offense to anybody. I just can't do it. If there's not a bathroom and there's not a toothbrush and toothpaste and change of clothes, I will not stay. I'm sorry. I don't care what time it is. I'm going home. So this is literally what I'm telling him. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll leave extra early in the morning. I'll take you home. I'm like, all right, fine. So I spent the night at his mother's house. She wasn't home. Strangely, she wasn't home. And it was just like his siblings had saw me. And it was like, Kane? And I'm like, yeah. They were kind of shocked. They were shocked, but not shocked, because like I said, everybody knew how John Mayer felt about me since we were little kids, like yay high. And he was just like, yeah, this is my girlfriend. And they were like, you're lying. I said, no, we are. We're doing this. So that night, we're in a room, we're eating, we're vibing. We fell asleep after that, and I heard his mother's voice. So I'm kind of embarrassed, y'all, because I'm like, I don't like being in people's house like this, like, it's this, I don't know, it's like a respect thing for me. So I kind of felt weird. And she was like, I don't know how she knew he was there with a female, but I heard her speaking about it, like, oh, I know that motherfucker's back there with a bitch, and and he's hearing it. He woke up, he heard it, so he gets up and he goes out there, and they're like, he was very aggressive with his mother, like very aggressive. It was just like, however he talked to her, he talked to everyone the same way, is what I'm trying to say. The respect level for his mother was just like very skim. So he's out there, he's talking to her, he's arguing with her, it sounded like to me. And he comes to the door, he knocks on the door, and he's like, come here real quick. So I get up, I goes to the door, and she's coming towards the door, and she stops and goes. And then she looks at him like, and she's like, well, I'll be damned. And I'm like, yeah. So y'all two finally got into, y'all finally in a relationship, or y'all finally, and he was like, yeah, like, so it's not just anybody in the house. This is what he said to her. And she was like, okay. She walked away with her little fake smile, and she was on her phone. And she was telling the person on the phone, yeah, Kane is here. And, oh, wow, that's crazy. Then, so, when I come out the room, I go in the bathroom to brush my teeth and all of that. Because he had gave me a spare toothbrush. He had went to the corner store and bought a toothbrush and stuff for me. So, I'm brushing my teeth and I come out the bathroom. She's asking about my mother, like, because like I said, we all used to vibe. Like, so I'm just like, yeah, she's good. She's, she's still over there. And da, da, da. All right, y'all. Read, like, fast forward. So now me and Jameer are, like, in a full-blown relationship. Like, we're probably on year 5, maybe. Year 5 in a relationship. The relationship is not perfect at all. Like, there was a lot of things that I started to discovering about him that I didn't like. I started to notice it out. Like, everybody knows their kids. But it's just like when she discovered that her son was doing these things, she would make fun of it. She would make little jokes, oh, you better not get caught over there or my son's going to whoop your ass. Disclaimer, her son's never whooped my ass, okay? All right, so back to the story. So I'm just like, she would say comments like that, like, oh, that guy, let's say we're at a store and there's a guy that's trying to pursue me and I'm trying to get rid of this guy. Let's get this guy away from me because, she would say, she would literally hear me say, like, I'm in a relationship. I'm not interested. I'm married. I'm not interested. This is the things that I would say. And she would be like, yeah, you better get him away because, Jameer sees that. He's gonna whoop your ass. He's gonna fuck you up and da da da. And I'm just like, why do you feel so comfortable saying stuff like that? Like, I'm just confused. She would just make little comments. She would then start talking about him and his ex-girlfriends, how she would catch them doing stuff. It was just like, it was really starting to get on my nerves. It was starting to piss me off. Okay. It just, oh. She ends up moving to the same state as us. And she moved there. I'm gonna blame myself partially. He had, I don't even know how to word it, like he basically like convinced her to move down to the same state as us, because me and him had ended up moving together out of the state of New York. This is how I ended up in the South. We moved out of the state of New York together, and for some kind of way she was convinced to move down too. Okay, so she comes and she visits. She likes it. That was the worst thing. I helped her apply for some apartments. She was approved for the apartments. Like, her move was just really quick down to where we were in the state we were living in. It was really, really quick. And I'm just like, my family is like, I don't think that's a good idea. My mother dealt with her more than I did, more than anybody has done. So my mother knew a lot of grimy things about her more than I did. So, my mother's just like I said, she's on the fence. One leg is dangling from the ground, and she's damn near over that fence. When, his mother just moves down, like I said, her move was quick. She moves down and she moves into our house. She moves into our house, y'all. Now, like I said, I knew her because I grew up around her. She used to babysit us. My mother used to babysit her kids. She knew me from when I was a little girl. So in my head, y'all, I'm walking around with these thoughts, little girl thoughts, instead of being, y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like, the memories that I had of this lady was when I was a kid. I didn't interact with her in adulthood, so I don't know what type of person she is now. You know what I'm saying? So she moves in to our apartment, and he was okay with it, but not okay. And I didn't know that until she moved in. This lady was beyond nosy. Things got to a point where I would have to leave my house, get in my car, and drive away. Just drive. Like, in order to get thoughts across, in order to use my phone, In order to eat, I had to leave my house. I had to get in my car and leave my house. This lady never really slept. She would go to bed early, like 8, 9 o'clock, if she was even asleep. Because there's times where I got up to go in the kitchen at 1, 2 in the morning, and she was up. I seen the light on in the room. I had a 2-bedroom apartment. She was staying in the front room, and I had the master bedroom in the back. She was rearranging my house, and we already know you can't go into another woman's house and start rearranging shit without their permission, or even if you got the permission, it's just like what the fuck? What are you doing? She would be rearranging furniture like, oh no, it should be this way. Why is it this way? Why is it that way? If me and her son got into an argument, she would tell me, oh, just be quiet, just shut up, just be quiet. Don't argue with him and this and this and this. And I'm just like, lady, what? Your son literally just tried to run up in my face and you're telling me to just be quiet? Anyway, so then she would be cooking, and I really could not eat her cooking because you're cooking and you're talking, and it's like when she talks, she would have a lot of spit coming out of her mouth. I don't. It's maybe it's a subconscious thing. She doesn't know that she's doing it, but I seen it, and I was like, I'm not eating that fucking food. Okay, like not doing it. She starts noticing that I'm not eating the food, and oh, why are you not eating? What's wrong? And I already ate. I wouldn't tell her that. I'd be like, I'll be back. I gotta go to the store. I gotta go to the post office. I would just go out. I was at Wendy's. I was at Popeyes. This is when I was eating meat. I was at Wendy's. I was at Popeyes. I was at the Chinese restaurant. I was at the Kroger's. I was all over the place having dinner inside of my car in the parking lot, or sitting in the restaurant eating. And I would eat enough to where it would hold me to the next day. The apartments that I applied for her for, they're calling her to tell her that she's approved for these apartments. She didn't want to move out. She didn't want to move into these apartments. She's like, she came up with an idea like, I probably can just stay here in this room, and I just give y'all rent for this room. No, honey. You got to get the fuck out of here. You ain't got to go to them apartments, but you getting out of this apartment. Like, it was just becoming too much. It was becoming too much. Then, this lady would be on the phone talking, telling all of our business. Telling all of our business. So, I'd be like, I have a doctor's appointment. I'll be back. She wanted to come with me to the doctor's appointment so she can see why I'm going to the doctor. She wanted to come with me every fucking where. And I'm just like, no. I'll be back going in the car. I left something. And I would just go downstairs and get into my car and drive and just leave. Because I'm just like, enough is enough of this. Like, this lady was driving me insane. Driving me insane. She was driving me insane, y'all. Then it got to a point where she was just making purposeful messes, making messes, not cleaning it up. She would just lay back on the couch and just look at me. The TV is this way, okay? But she would be on the couch this way. I'm sitting over there looking at the TV that's over here, and she's sitting here just looking at me. And I would be like, is there a problem? And she would be like, oh no. And I'm like, so how can you see the TV? The TV is that way. The TV is that way, and you're laying on the couch looking this way, looking at me. What's up? Y'all, like, I started getting tired of her. So I wasn't biting my tongue no more. I was getting tired. One day she comes and says, oh, I'm going to cook this for dinner, this and this and this. I'm like, okay, do it, cook it. Are you going to eat some? I'm like, no. She like, I don't understand. You don't be eating. You don't eat, but you're gaining weight. Like, and I'm just like, I don't be hungry. For days though? Yep. For days. She goes in a room and calls her son and tells her son that I'm starving myself, or whatever she told him. And how I know that she was calling her son to tell her son shit during these days, because right after, the nigga would call my phone and be asking me. And I'm just like, where did you get that from? Where you got that from? He's like, my mother called. Oh, okay. So y'all, I would start telling her shit, shit on purpose. Didn't even really, wasn't even true. I would just start telling her, telling her different things, and then I would just sit and be like, let's see how long it take for this to go somewhere. I would sit and tell her stuff, and then for real, everything that I told her, I would hear it from somebody else, but it would have a spin to it, and I'd be like, that's not what I told her. I told her that, but I didn't tell her all of that. Like, damn, really? One day, y'all. One day, we in New York. This lady had a reputation. She had a reputation of starting fights with people and running. And she would do it to her son's girlfriends. Like, all of her sons, she has had physical altercations with every last one of them. Now, when I first seen this happen, I was just like, I was like really shocked. I'm like, is this what these people is into? Like, she had started a fight with one of her son's baby mothers. She slapped this girl so hard, y'all, and it was like very unexpectedly. Like, the girl came over with her son, and she just kept, remember, I told y'all, she makes remarks. She says a lot of smart shit, and she'll keep doing it until you respond some kind of way. So she just kept saying smart stuff, smart remarks, rude remarks, just remarked. And I'm just sitting there, I'm looking at the girl like, and then looking at her like, and I'm just, in my head, I'm lost. I'm like, what am I missing here? And then there was, she hung out with other females that were like younger than her too. So they were like egging the situation on as well. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is not making any sense. So now, you got the young girl, you got one of her daughters that was involved in it too. And then you have your son's girlfriend, baby mother. And she walks past the girl and, like, I kid you not, like, slaps the living shit out of this girl. And the girl jumped up, and the girl was pregnant too. The girl jumped up, and they all started fighting. The whole house. Everybody. It was just like, it was so synchronized. I was just in the corner, like, I was sitting in the corner like this behind the dining table, and I'm like, I couldn't believe my eyeballs. I couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing. The whole entire house, everybody in the house was fighting. Everybody shot the fair one except me, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have anything to do with any of that, So I'm just sitting there like, what's happening here? Like, this is crazy. Police was called. The fight spilled out of the house into the hallway, from the hallway to downstairs, outside, in the cold. She had ran. After she slapped that girl, she ran. She disappeared. She turned into Houdini. And I'm just like, I didn't know where she went. And I was kind of worried about it, because I'm like, she's an older lady. She's got health issues and shit. And I didn't want the girl to beat her up, beat her bad, like, so I'm just like, damn, like, but she turned into Houdini, y'all. She disappeared. I don't know where she went, and everybody was too busy fighting. So finally, once the fight spilled outside, she comes walking. I see her walking from the back of the house. So obviously, I guess she ran to the back of the house. I don't know. She comes walking from the back of the house. I'm still sitting in that chair because, like I said, I am confused. I am I'm confused. I'm lost. I don't know. Everything just jumped off really fast, and I didn't know what I was still processing the whole situation. So she comes walking to the front, and she's putting on her sweater. And she like, yeah. She like, did you see how them bitches? You see how that bitch did this, and you see how that bitch hit me, and that bitch this, and I that, and fuck her up, and I'm just like, lady, you hit that motherfucking girl first. Like, this is what I'm saying to myself. So I'm just like, I'm looking at her. I'm not dumb, y'all. I'm far from stupid. And that was the red flag for me. The infamous red flag. I'm looking at this lady like, but in my head, I'm like, lady, you hit that girl first. You started with that girl from the time she walked through that door. You started with her from the time she walked through the door. Jamir even fought. And he didn't have nothing to do with none of this shit. Jamir even fought. And I'm like, yo, like, this is wild. So, Jamir comes back upstairs. His shirt is all ripped off. Like, he's been fighting. He's like, get your shit. Let's go. We get the fuck out of here. Okay. I got my stuff. We left. We got in the car and we dipped out. And he was mad. He's like, yeah, I'm not fucking with them no more. I'm not going around no more. Somebody was calling his phone, making threats. He's on the phone arguing with them for the rest of the night, and I'll come back over there and do this and do that. And finally, the night was done. I was glad because I had never never seen anything like this before in my life. We back in our town. We back in the South now because that was crazy, and it was just like the same stuff that she was doing. She was doing that to me. She's trying to do it to me. I was the last of the tribe because all the other girls, they was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I don't have to deal with this. Even if they had kids with the niggas, they left. So I'm the last of the tribe, and she was trying to project it onto me, but it didn't work. It never works with none of these mothers. Not with me. Okay? No, honey. No, sir. No, ma'am. She had her other son. She was bothering this girl. I witnessed that. She kept saying how the girls, vajayjay, stink. And I'm just, people, the only way to know something of the sort is if you've been down there. Because I don't really think that her son would disclose that type of information with her, whether if it had an odor or not. I don't know. But she just kept saying that the girl stink. The girl had an odor. And I'm just like, I sat back and watched that. She tried to start a fight with this girl, but this girl was big. Like she was big. She was very pretty, but she was big. And her parents were with the shits. Okay, like her parents, they was from the hood too, and they was with it. When they was with whatever, So she really didn't get far with starting a fight with that girl. She didn't get far with that. Like, she tried. I would sit back. She would be making comments. The girl would walk past. She'd be like, ugh, oh, it smells like stink. And I'm like, wow. Like, damn. Like, really? She walked past me. I ain't smell nothing. Maybe you just smell it because you just don't like her. Like, you don't like her to the point to where your mind is making you think that you smell something. Like, because I don't smell nothing. And she was saying, you don't smell that? I'm like, I don't smell nothing. Well, something must be wrong with your nose. No, it's nothing wrong with my nose. I don't smell it. I don't smell it. That girl, she had a baby by her son and she left. She got the fuck away from him. Here's me, the last of the Mohegan, still going with Jamir. And you know, like I said, Jamir had cheated on me, attempted to cheat on me, cheated. Whatever the hell he was doing. Okay? So now she's in our house and she's doing the same thing in our house. The only thing I mean, I never heard that I stink. She probably said it to somebody else, but I damn sure didn't hear it. You know, so one day I discover that I'm pregnant. And I told Jamir, and he was excited, you know, because it's our first kid. I tried to hide it, but this lady was just so fucking nosy, y'all. Like, nosy. She just was like, you know, your hips are starting to spread. And your complexion is changing. She was noticing the changes because, you know, like I said, I just told you how she would lay on the couch and stare at me for hours. You know, like maybe she's trying to figure out a way how to get me. I don't know. I can't be gotten. I don't. And the more people understand that, the more they'll find a new hobby. So, you know, she discovers that I'm pregnant. And this is where the bullshit started. She would call me to do everything, knowing that I need to be on bed rest. I need to rest. I need to chill. Can you take me to Family Dollar? I take her to Family Dollar. She's buying all of this shit. Doesn't want to take a cart to the car. But normally, we would take carts to the car to remove everything from the car to put it in the trunk. Oh no, we can carry it out. She buys a bookcase, a bookshelf. The guy is in the store is like, you know, I can carry this out, fellas. It's like really heavy. She's like, oh no, she's gonna carry it. Somebody else with us? That's what I asked her. Is somebody else with us? She's like, no, it's just me and you. Okay, so what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, well, I can't carry it because I have heart problems. And I can't carry it because I'm pregnant. And you know that. So the guy's like, you know, once again, I get a paycheck for this. I can put it into the car for y'all. And wherever y'all go, y'all just have to have somebody to take it out. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead. She gets mad. She starts talking about I'm lazy. I'm lazy, but I'm pregnant. And I have a situation to where I need not be carrying anything heavy. I'm not even supposed to be on my feet, lady. And you know this. We put it in the car. I text her son and tell her son what's going on. Her son calls my phone and is like, why the fuck are you out of the house? Why the fuck is you at the store with that lady? And why this and why that? Like, he's just going off on the phone on me. I'm just like, she called and said, I don't give a fuck. Drop her off and get back to the house. I said, okay. She's hear him yelling and screaming. She doesn't know exactly what he's saying. So then once I said, okay, I hung up, he calls her phone and starts going off on her. And she's like, okay, all right, okay. She hangs up and now she has an attitude. So the thing was, the bookshelf had to stay in the car until he took it over there. And she was angry about that. She wanted me to take that bookshelf box out of that car, carry it into the house in attempts for me to have a miscarriage. I know what I'm talking about, y'all. I know what I'm talking about. Later that day, we go back over there, and him and his friend, and they're putting the bookshelf together. And she's like, we're sitting down talking. After they put the bookshelf together, we're sitting down talking. And she's doing that staring shit again. She's sitting there. I caught her. She's looking at my stomach. And then she looked at my face. Now, when I caught her doing that to my stomach, she went, and I'm like, is there a problem? When I said that, her son looks up from his phone. He's like, and looks straight at her. She goes, oh no, I was looking at your stomach because I thought I saw the baby moving. You seen the baby moving? Mm. I'm far along, y'all, but I'm not that far along to where anybody can see the baby move. I can feel the baby moving, but it wasn't to where you could see it on the outside yet. She knew that. Her son says, what's going on? Why you asked her that? She's like, she jumps in and says, oh, she says it again. And her son says, I'm asking Kane. I'm talking to Kane. So I told her. I told her son, I said it. And he looks at her and he just shakes his head. And he did this. He's like looking at his phone. Once he does that, it's time to vacate the premises. Okay, like me and this guy were crazy. We're the same sign. We were crazy. It's time to vacate the premises because he's getting ready to go the fuck off. And we got up and we left. My baby was stillborn. My baby was stillborn, y'all. Like something went wrong and got to the hospital. The cord was around his neck. He was born with the cord around his neck. He didn't make it. Jamir wasn't here. He left. He left on the account of something that his mother told him. His mother had told him that the baby that I was carrying belonged to his friend. And I just y'all, I have come a very long way because a long time ago, talking about this, I would get up from this chair right now. Okay. But I was just like really appalled. I'm just like, and I did not know that this was happening until maybe 2 or 3 years after he comes out and tells me. She says to him, oh, y'all was in a relationship for all these years, and then all of a sudden she gets pregnant when your friend comes around. So she told her son that I was pregnant by his friend, and he believed that shit. And he left to go be with an ex-girlfriend. And I'm just like, why? Like, I can't make this up. Relationship number 4. If you were afraid that I was going to speak about you, you had the right feeling. I thought about speaking about this lady, and I'm just like, because it's still open. It's an open case. And you know, sometimes you can't talk about open cases. But in this point, when I say open case, it is not in the courts at all, but it's in judgment. I was in a relationship with this lady's son. Let's give her a name. Let's call her Cruella DeVille. I was in a relationship with Cruella DeVille's son. And this lady didn't like me from day one. From day one. The first day that I saw her, I spoke to her. I said, hi, how you doing? She went, she didn't say a word. She sized me up and kept walking. I said, holy shit. And I looked at her son. Her son was like, He was confused. His dad spoke, but she didn't speak. And it went like this for a couple of days. By this point, you should know now that me and your son is like in a relationship because you're seeing me a lot more. The whole train is disappearing. It's no more hoes. It's just me. It's Kane now. So she would just look at me, and once in a while she would say hi, how you doing? But it was still dry. One night we went to the family, the family house, her parents' house, so she can cook dinner for them. I guess by then she kind of realized that I was an actual girlfriend of her son's. And once again, her son is younger than me. I'm older than her son. Um, she's realizing, okay, this must be his girlfriend because this girl is coming around to family events and stuff like that. She comes in, she's in the kitchen cooking and with the other females of the house. And I happened to just walk in the kitchen and I heard her say, can't no woman come to her and tell her that they are pregnant by her son. Just that son, the son that I was dating. She didn't say anything about the other son. And it kind of took me by surprise. I'm just like, I turned around and walked out of the kitchen. Like, okay, maybe that's a sign to just go sit the fuck down. Like, you don't have to be in the kitchen helping them. They wasn't really interacting with me. So I just felt like, okay, let me make myself interact. Let me go in the kitchen. Let me try to, oh, y'all need help. You need me to grate some cheese. You need me to cut some onions. Like, I'm trying. But I wasn't as accepted because, when you're a bad bitch, everybody's a bad bitch till another bad bitch step in the room, so y'all know how that goes. Y'all know how that goes, so I'm just like, okay, y'all don't wanna fuck with Kane, that's fine. That's fine. Because Kane don't mess with too many people herself. It's time to eat. She comes and sits next to me and I guess after everything that took place, how they were acting and the comments that they were making, maybe she felt bad. She felt some kind of way. So she comes and sits next to me and she goes, like, nudges my arm. And I look over at her. Mind you, y'all, I didn't eat meat at this time. And these people were notified every fucking time, excuse my language, that I don't eat meat. But they still was cooking, inviting us to events and cooking food with meat in it. But we're gonna get to that. Just stay right there. We're gonna get to that. So I'm sitting there picking little pieces of meat out of my food and trying to decide if I even really want to eat. So, to keep from getting sick. She comes and sits, she's noticing that I'm picking the meat out. She says, oh, I totally forgot. My son told me that that you don't eat meat. Your son told you that, but you still cooked every fucking thing with meat in it. So I'm sitting there and picking through it. Like I said, she comes, sits next to me. She's apologizing about the meat shit. Then she taps me and says, so where's home? Where are you from? Because I noticed you don't have a South accent. I said, I'm from the Big Apple. I'm from New York City. I'm from Brooklyn. She says, oh, okay. So what made you come move here? I said, I wanted a change. I needed a change in life. When I'm born and raised in New York, I wanted to be somewhere different. She's like, no, just saying. And I said, okay. After that day, I guess she's just like, I just have to become acquainted with this girl because this is who my son chose. Once me and her son started to get more serious, that's when things started to, like, you started to see different things. Like, her son moved in with me on the account of her and her husband throwing him out. Okay. So they asked him to leave. They told him he had to leave. He discloses that information to me. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to see you homeless on the street, especially if we're in a relationship. You can just come over here, just move in over here. It's not a problem. We split the bills. We do what we do. He's like, all right, fine. And that is what he did. He never went back home. He never went back home. And I think that kind of bothered her. It bothered her that her son did not need her anymore. He found him a real woman, and he was building his life with a real woman, and that bothered her. Like I say, y'all, I'm a very observative and a very spiritual person. So I be knowing things, a lot of things. And there's no way a person can tell me, no, that's not true. Because it is true. So I be knowing shit. And I would put him onto it. And he would be like, yeah, you're right. Okay. So y'all, like I said, they would invite us to family events where we would have to pay to eat. $20 a person, $25 a person. And I would, you got to run me my $20 or my $25 back, because I'm not picking meat out of shit. I'm not holding a plate of food and picking meat out. I'm not doing that. Give me my bread back so I can go buy me some food. And that was the thing. Every time we went to family events, I would go and buy my own food. I would just buy my own food and go eat it at the event with them. Because enough was enough. And then there was, the belittling situation. It was just, oh, my son's not having any kids until he's married. My son is not this. My son is not that. How the fuck can your son do anything when you keep jumping in his business? You're jumping in his business. You're trying to push his bitches away. How is he going to do any of this, lady? Let's be real here. How is any of this going to happen when you won't stay out of his business? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then whenever I would say something, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I'm disrespectful. I can go on about it. I really can. But it's just like, this is a mother-in-law from hell. A mother-in-law from hell. Whenever you sit and you manipulate so many people to believe that one person is a bad person because you don't want them with your son, that's crazy. I had a child in their family say on the phone to me that she said, I am not good for her son. When you ask her why I'm not good for her son, there's no excuse. There is no explanation as to why I'm not good for your son. I had my daughter. I became pregnant in that relationship. And I kept my pregnancy quiet because I knew already that these people didn't like me. I knew they didn't like me. And every time they had an idea, the in-laws, they had an idea of what me and him was doing, shit would just fail. It wouldn't go right for us at all. And I would tell him, we don't need to tell these people anything anymore, because every time they find out what we're doing, it goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. It goes wrong. And he's like, yeah, I'm noticing it. So now we decided to tell people about our child on a gender reveal, which was the worst fucking thing that we can ever do. The gender reveal, y'all, we did the gender reveal online, streamed it, because like I said, I don't live in the same state as them anymore. And she had a problem with that too. She had a problem with her son moving away from her. She said that she want her son to stay near her. How can he grow and be a man if he's up under your ass all day? She had a problem with her son moving out of a state with me. He hasn't been in any kind of trouble with the law or anything since me and him been together. What, we have arguments here and there? That's what happens in a relationship. All right. She's angry that her son left. She's angry her son picked up and left. I told him to tell his family that he was leaving, because it's like he was just going to leave and not say anything to them. And I see why. So now when it's disclosed to them, everybody is like, oh, well, you need to speak to. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, why do, hello? She's like, well, what is your parents saying about, they can't say anything, honey, because I am grown. They can't say anything. I am a grown ass woman. Just like your son is a grown ass man. But the fact that we have to come and have a powwow about why he's leaving, this doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, I am really, really confused. But all right. And the energy was just so negative in that house that night. I never forget it, because my neck was hurting. My ears was hot on the tips. It was just, the energy was fuming. It was spewing because her son made a decision to leave. And she just refused to be happy for her son that he was making this decision. Like, I don't get it. She starts talking about there's crime in Florida. Lady, there's crime everywhere. There is crime in every damn state. What the hell are you talking about? Your son is smart. He knows how, come on now. He's not stupid. It's crime everywhere. So what are you talking about? Like, she just kept coming up with all kinds of excuses and wanted to manipulate him, but she couldn't, because I was always with him. Like, we always came to the house together. So there was no way to get him alone to manipulate him. So she started doing it through the phone when me and him was in another state. So now we did the gender reveal. Everybody is like surprised, like, what the hell? Like, because the last pregnancy, I had a miscarriage. After telling her I had a miscarriage. 14 days later, after disclosing to her ass that I was pregnant, I had a miscarriage. Laying down, I get up to go to the bathroom, there's blood everywhere. I'm just like, I know what's going on. I go to the hospital. I'm crying, driving to the hospital, because I already know what's going on. I'm not stupid. Get to the hospital, it's a miscarriage. All right. I get pregnant. Back right again. 4 months later, 5 months, I think it was, I'm pregnant again. Didn't even know it. So now we do the gender reveal. Okay. And everybody is just like so phony. They're fake. Okay. They are fake happy. You had a few people that just spewed their ignorance. They didn't even give a fuck. Then you had some that was fake and was putting their ignorance somewhere else about it. Like, nobody was happy. No one was happy that I was pregnant by this man. Nobody was happy. So after the gender reveal, okay, his mother calls his phone and says, she wasn't even happy, y'all. She just like, I wish I would have knew that she was pregnant when it first happened, instead of finding out online. And I'm just like, what's the difference? Why do you want to know when I'm pregnant when it first happens, so you can prey on that too, like you did the first one? I had put, it was like a Facebook private group. I put into the group, no one can add anyone into the group unless it's me or him. This is what I put into the thing. Do you know what this fucking lady was doing, y'all? She was adding people in the motherfucking group after I said I did not want anyone to be added into the group unless it was me or her son. She was adding people into the group, like, just fuck what Kane said, and just adding people into the group. And I'm just like, I'm in the hospital now. When I discovered that she was doing this, my water had broke My water broke in the CVS out of nowhere. Just broke open in the CVS. Now I have to go to the hospital. I'm admitted into the hospital. They're telling me my water broke. The sac is losing water, but the baby is all right. I got to stay and see if I'm going to give birth. This lady calls this man's phone in labor and delivery and asks this man, "Are you guys okay? Because I just feel like something is wrong. Is something wrong?" So now me and him are arguing. I'm like, how does this bitch know that we're in the hospital? He's like, I said, "Did you call and tell my business?" He's like, "No, I haven't spoken to them." And I'm just like, he wasn't figuring it out, y'all. Like, he wasn't picking it up. Like, how do they know? How does she know we're in the hospital? Okay, that's another red flag. My daughter was born maybe 4 days later after that whole situation. And we're in the NICU. And I just remember, because it's like, maybe I'm in my emotions because, after women have babies, they be emotional. This lady, I'm literally having like a debate on the phone with her, a video chat with her, because she's like, "Oh, she looks like me." I said, "No, she doesn't." How do you even fucking know what the baby looks like? Because my daughter was born, she had jaundice. All babies born early, they have jaundice. So they have to be under a blue light. So she's under a blue light. They got little foam sunglasses on her, on her face. Her face is like covered. Me and him, we seen her face. That's our child. They let us see her. She looked exactly like him. Spitting image. So she's like, "Yeah, she looks just like me. She looks like," I'm not like, no, she doesn't. She looks like him. "Oh no, she looks," I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, she looks like her fucking father. Because now I'm tired. I'm tired of the back and forth. So then she catches on to the tone of my voice and she's like, "Well, that means that she looks like his dad because he looks like his dad." And I'm just like, you know what? You can continue the conversation with your parents. I'm gonna be over here. Because I couldn't do it no further. I couldn't do it. Enough is enough of this shit. That's what I said. And I walked away. So now, we're in the NICU. We're trying to make sure that our daughter is going to make it. But it's just like, this lady is only calling on days where my daughter was not doing well. She never called on good days. On the days where my daughter had a good day, she's smiling, the incubator, she's looking at me, I'm reading books to her. You didn't call on none of them fucking days. You blew your son's phone up, asking your son for an update. Your son is like, "I'm at work right now. Can you call her mother?" You refusing to call me. Why? Why you don't want to talk to me? Why you don't want to talk to me, Cruella? Why? One night, I'm at the NICU. I'm at that motherfucking NICU. I lived there, literally, y'all. They gave me a room to sleep in. I was living in the NICU from the time I gave birth to her. So it was one night. It's me and her father is there, and this lady calls in. Okay, and this was a night where my daughter, she was having up and down, up and down. The nurse was explaining to me how the babies in the NICU communicate. They communicate through the heart. Their heart rate tells everything. I'm like, oh, okay. So my daughter's heart rate is going fine. It's normal. Everything's fine. I had fed her. I read her a book, and we changed her, and she went to sleep. So she's in there asleep. So now his mother's on the phone. He has the phone on speakerphone, and she's talking. The nurse is sitting in the next cubicle across from my daughter's room, and she turns her chair to the the exit of the door and says, "Whoever's on that phone, your daughter doesn't like their voice. Like, your daughter doesn't like them." her father turns and looks at the nurse. And I looked up at him and I looked at the nurse. And his mother says, what did they say? He says, oh, they told me I had to talk on the phone in the hallway. Like, he just mopped that shit up real quick. He goes out in the hallway and the nurse comes and says, your daughter doesn't like that lady. The lady that's talking, she doesn't like that lady. My daughter has never even fucking met the lady. You see, y'all? So I'm just like, he comes back in now. He had, took the call. He hung up from them. And he's like, he's asking me about that situation. And the nurse heard it and the nurse started explaining it to him. And then he started to understand. Y'all, my daughter passes away. God bless her soul. That shit ate me up. It ate me up. It did. It took me the fuck out of this world. Took him out of this world. Do you know Cruella DeVille sends a text message to her son 4 days after my daughter passes away and tells him to pack his stuff and come back home? Four days after my daughter died. She had been trying to get her son to go back up there. From the time when we moved into this house, she thought that he was outside talking on the phone, but she says on the phone, I don't like that house. I don't want you in it. I think you need to come back home. But I heard the whole thing. The whole time that I was pregnant, she kept calling, asking for a conception date. Not a due date, a conception date. Because we gave her the due date. She called back and asked for the conception date. It was just, it was just becoming very, very too fucking much for me. It really was. Down to the baby shower. We made plans for baby shower. We're renting chairs. We're renting centers. We're getting food catering, all kinds of shit. And then have to keep changing the date because, this one is having a bridal shower. That one is doing this. That one is doing that. I'm just like, lady, your fucking son is having his first kid. And we have to keep changing dates because you're concerned about other shit. Do you guys need anything for the shower? Her son says, yeah, can you make a pan of this, a pan of that? Because that's my favorite dish. You know what she says? Oh, you can just come to the house and I'll just make a small pan for you. My daughter dies. People get in their cars that night and drive down here to where I'm at to see if we're okay. What did his mother do? And the rest of the family, the rest of the clan, they stayed up there to go to a fucking bridal shower for a motherfucker that's been married already 2 or 3 times already. All of a sudden now they want to come and see us. Okay, it's what is it, like a month? It's not even a month. It's like a few days after, and I think it's just too early. Number one, for a situation like this. But all right, they come down, but you're not coming down here to console your son or console anyone for the death of their child. You're on vacation. You're going to restaurants. You're on boat rides. You are celebrating. And I didn't go to none of this shit. I stayed in my house on my couch, grieving my child the correct way. That's what I did. And because I chose to do that, I became the bad guy. I have to argue with his brother. I have to argue with his sister. All of these fucking people, his cousins, aunts, because I decided as a mother that had lost my child, I had to sit and hold my child, watch my child die in front of my face. They're doing CPR. They're trying to work on her. And then I have to have a doctor turn around and say to me, I'm sorry. I did all I can do. She's gone. And I have to sit and argue with people about why the fuck I didn't go into a restaurant and sit at a table with they don't like me. It's obvious that you don't like me. But this is days after my child has died. Do you think I want to be sitting at a restaurant table days after my small newborn child has died in my face? Y'all, like, I can't make this up. It's 1 full year now. My daughter turned 1 year old. January 28, 2024, she turned 1 year old. I had to literally argue with these people day by day. Day by fucking day after my daughter died, I had to argue with this lady and her clan because they wouldn't leave me alone. They wouldn't leave her son alone. They just wouldn't leave us alone. They wouldn't. They just kept going and fucking going. They wouldn't leave us alone. She would sit and call him and tell him a bunch of fucking shit about me. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. You're going to witch doctors, you're going to botanicas, you spending all this money, and look at me. Look at me. I'm still here. I'm still thriving and looking the fuck good too while I'm doing it. I'm glad I did this video because I feel so good letting this out. Because it's been bottled up. It's been bottled up. And I know it's a lot of people in this world that probably have went through this. In-laws from fucking hell. Father's Day. Nobody said Happy Father's Day to this man. Nobody acknowledged that this man was a father. That he had a kid with me. Nobody acknowledged and said Happy Father's Day to this man at all. He slept through the whole fucking Father's Day. You're making Facebook posts and you're making collages with everybody in the fucking post except him. I don't understand. And it's just like, this just goes to say, these people never liked me from the day I walked in the room. And it's just like, you get your son back and your son does not want to be around you. I'm just going to throw that right out there. And I really don't care. Y'all know, the people that know me, y'all know I don't care. I do not care. Because like I said, I'm not saying no names. There's no names, especially in this part of the story time. I didn't say no name. I call her Cruella DeVille. I didn't even mention her son's name at all. I didn't mention her son's name. I just said her son, my daughter's father. That's it. I didn't mention nobody's name. So if you feel angry after watching this video, I really don't know what to tell you. The same problem I had with the first story time that I did coming back onto YouTube. The Toxic Todd. Toxic Todd, the real toxic person, tried to get my video taken down. Why? I never said your name. I'm speaking about the events that took place. I never said your name. So YouTube didn't remove the video because, what? There's nothing personal being said. Now I can understand if I said names, if I'm saying people's names and I'm saying addresses and I'm saying places and, no. Everything is confidential. It's private. I'm protecting the trifling. Not the innocent. The trifling. That's all I'm doing. At least I'm doing that. At least I have enough respect to do that. Because some people, hey, y'all, listen. Some people don't care. But this is mother-in-laws from hell. I had to do this story time. I had to. In-laws from hell. I'm not saying part 1 and part 2. I probably will split this video up, or I'll probably just put it long if you have time to watch it, But if you're going through something like this, ladies and gentlemen, get the fuck away from these people because it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. Especially if your significant other is not strong enough to put these people in their place. These people like their mothers, their sisters, and their fathers, and their brothers and cousins. If they're not strong enough to put these people in their place, you're not going to win at all. You're not going to win this. Just get away from them. Because I'm on the outside looking in. So I'm able to see a lot that he couldn't see. And now he's seeing it. These people are evil, including Mama Bear. Everybody has a life to live of their own, and everybody has decisions to make on their own. You can't make decisions for everybody. You can't control everybody. You have narcissistic parents, gaslighting parents. And that is what I dealt with. Gaslighting, narcissistic, controlling in-laws. They just didn't want to see their sons with shit. It's sad. It's very sad. And they don't like me because I don't bite my tongue. I say how I feel. And I'm always with the shits. That's my story time. In-laws from hell. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you can relate to anything in this video, give this video a thumbs up. Comment below. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here and you like this video. If you like my story times, hit that bell. Subscribe, because I got more coming. I have more coming on this channel. This is me. This is my show. And I'm glad y'all like looking at it. So yeah, shout out to my new subscribers. Shout out to my subscribers that I have now. Shout out to the viewers, the people that's viewing, and you still deciding if you want to subscribe. Go ahead and hit that button and subscribe, because it's lit over here. It's lit over here. It's lit here. So that's the end of this video, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it helped y'all. Give me some of y'all tell me about your problems in the comments. Come in the comments and tell me how you dealt with in-laws from hell. I'd like to hear about it. Okay? Release it. You'll feel much better. Don't hold that in. Release it. So that's the end of this video. I'm going to see y'all in the next episode. Peace.
I told her like you, that bitch, I do it. All that I'm around, you scared to do. I'm not.